It's normal to be cheated on. It's normal to be in an abusive relationship. It's normal to give and not receive. And the woman's like a slave. And that's what I was brought up with, loads of women that were kind of treated that way. Do not believe all these people that are saying they're making millions of pounds property developing, because they're not. The reality is most property developers are probably in debt and leveraged so maxed out, especially if they built in the last 2 years. The only fear I've ever had is not being able to have a baby. Like, if you are going to do something, I would rather risk making a mistake for myself before I risk making a mistake with someone else.
What's the biggest mistake you've made?
Oh my God, there's so many.
Welcome back to the Mindful Creator Podcast, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. If you're loving the episodes and if you're loving the guests, then please make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. Also, make sure you comment below with your favorite part of the episode or the part that impacted you the most from the conversation, because I absolutely love hearing how the conversations are making a difference for you. Your interaction and engagement is what helps me make this podcast that much bigger and better, with even more amazing guests and even more powerful conversations. None of this would be possible without you. So again, I'm hugely grateful. Thank you so much. And let's get into the show. My guest today is the wonderful Chanel Ali. Chanel is an entrepreneur who founded Range Homes right here in London. And she recently got acquired off of that company as well. So massive congratulations for that.
Thank you.
She's a property developer, a consultant, has her own podcast, and is very soon moving to Dubai.
Yes.
Chanel, thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, that was very factful and true.
Yeah. I do my research.
Yeah, really well researched. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's nice to get out of North London.
Yeah.
We're normally better on a plane, but you know, we'll just
listen.
We'll
we went south, but just not that far south. But
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you're going to be in Dubai soon.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we just start there?
Yeah.
What has sparked the move for
Yeah.
you to go, do you know what? I'm done with London. Dubai is a place to be.
Tax. My tax bills were getting crazy, and I think when you open your eyes to different things, I get so many people comfortable in UK, and they should be, because it's an amazing place, and I'm very thankful for what UK has given me. However, when you go to different places, you see different things, you see different lifestyles. I'm quite well travelled. I've always loved to travel, so I guess my eyes have always been open to different surroundings, cultures, religions, different demographics of society. So Dubai, I'm Muslim, and I actually had to study Islam to really connect with Dubai in a lot of deeper way than I did when I first went in 2008, for example.
Okay.
When I went in 2008, it was such a taboo about the Arabs, and you know, they're allowed 4 wives, and they're on this bubble, and you know, Islam is so strict, and you can't drink alcohol, and you can't go out, and you can't do business, and you've got to get a sponsor and all this stuff, and it was a bit like that in 2008. But then when I started going more in 2021 and friends moved there in COVID, I spent more length of time there. I was like, okay, wow, you can really have a balance of lifestyle to work ratio. And then I was like, I think I have something here. I bought a property, I tested the water myself, and that's what I highly believe in, doing something first before then trying to sell out to others. So I bought a property there, and then I was like, okay, this is how it works. Learned the demographics of buying, then I sold that. I learned how to sell, and then all of a sudden I started to get some contacts, clients, network, and I built a good network of people that wanted to buy in Dubai. And so I started selling in Dubai 2 years ago, alongside running Range Homes. Range Homes was obviously my baby. I had it since 2008. However, I found every time I left, my heart, as it's like you're leaving your child and your child's growing, and I grew that to a level, but then I kind of wanted to grow something new, my new chapter, and I felt like my next chapter was to grow in Dubai. And as hard and challenging as it's been, I have the gut instinct that that's where I want to be. So I'm doing everything to get there, and I'm very fearless. So I think you have to go for it head first.
Okay, I love that, and you've said a lot, which I've just been making notes on as well.
Yes, sorry,
which I really want to. No, this is amazing, and I want to get deeper into a couple of bits that you said. Let's talk about Range Homes first.
Yes.
Okay, what What was the path that you went through from childhood to adulthood that made you go, do you know what? Entrepreneurism is for me, and I need to set up my own estate agents, essentially.
I started as a child, so that was not a downfall, but obviously when I went, now I've just been acquired by the best estate agency in London, and I formed a merge with them, and merging with the people right at the top, from 19-year-old Chanel Ali, who didn't know much about property at all, really. And I learned it as I went on. You have to professionalize yourself and grow yourself with your company. Whereas if you were to start now, all them mistakes, them years of mistakes, you won't do. So, do I think it was obviously beneficial, because that got me to where I am today. But I would do a lot differently if I started opening an estate agency now, because I'm at an entrepreneur level now. You don't just, I do see loads of young entrepreneurs and I'm really proud of them, but I don't think you haven't got the same mindset as a 30-year-old if you're 19, which I was. My mindset was completely different. I didn't have life goals. I was just good at sales. Running a business is tough. There's so much that goes into running a business, let alone a growing business. And doing it on your own as female director at 19, it was really challenging.
How did you get the confidence to be a director at the age of 19?
I know.
Starting your own business?
I'm fearless.
Where does the fearlessness come from?
I don't know. Passion. I feel like fearless is related to passion. I'm very passionate. I'm a very honest person. I've always had that. That's my, not my core values, but that's my personality traits, is honesty, passion. A bit chaotic. And again, I don't feel like normality grows well with entrepreneurship. I've never seen a soft entrepreneur.
Yep.
You have to be hard and tough and fearless in every way.
I think you have to be a certain level of delusional to be an entrepreneur as well, just because you don't think the same.
No.
If you can, so I love your answer there, which is, fearlessness is linked to passion. So define what that passion actually looks like. So if someone's like following Chanel around for a day, what would they see that would make them feel that level of passion and fearlessness? The purpose of this podcast is to help you make your dreams a reality in every area of life. And that includes traveling and exploring some of the world's most beautiful destinations, like the Maldives. Myself and my wife took a trip to the Maldives last year, and with the huge number of islands to choose from and the cost differences between all of them, it all became a little bit overwhelming. That's where Simply Maldives, a dedicated travel agency for all the islands, stepped in, gave us the best advice, helped us plan our perfect trip, and got us a fantastic deal. That's why I'm proud and excited to say that I'm now partnered with Simply Maldives. Their expert knowledge can help you plan the perfect dream holiday. Whether you're traveling solo, traveling as a couple, traveling with your family and kids, or you have specific dietary requirements, they have something for you. So if you're interested in jetting off to the Maldives for your next dream holiday, then reach out to Simply Maldives through the link below, and I can guarantee you'll be well looked after.
Yeah. Funny enough, I've done a day in the life today with my videographer.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Coming up here, and it started off with I had 0 miles on my tank because I have no time to put petrol. My first time I ate today was at 6:30, and I only ate because I was coming here. I probably wouldn't have even eaten. I forgot that I even didn't eat. I haven't been gym for a month, which is so not like me. But I'm in that, I guess, level up stage of my life where I'm getting to a point where everything I wanted to do is sort of happening and manifesting. And this is honestly, it's the most challenging part, is that bit before it happens. I put everything into play, everything I wanted to do into action, but you can be proactive. I feel like you can listen to podcasts, and you can do the reading, and you can do the meditating, because I've done all of that. I'm not much a reader, but I don't watch TV either. So there's because I'm more of an action person. So that's my day. It's just super packed. I don't have a minute spare from the second I wake up to the second I sleep. I'm working.
Wow.
Yeah, 6 days a week. I give myself maybe a couple of hours on a Sunday to relax.
So that activity, because that's a lot of hours in your day
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of time spent working. What
Mm-hmm.
are you actually physically, tangibly doing? Like, what takes up so much time for you?
See, the reason why I got acquired, was because I was giving range homes too much of my time, and I weren't seeing as big as of a benefit as I know I have the potential for myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of self-worth, really.
Okay.
When you have a business that it's not serving you in the sense that I love doing it, and I'm still going to continue working with them, but the managing that one company in that same place for 16 years was taking up too much of my time, and it wasn't letting me grow. And I could easily stay there for the next 16 years. But after, like I say, you've seen something so much more beautiful that you can create for yourself, and you want to move on to the next chapter, you have to do the hardest thing in the world and let go of a part of you and move on.
My God, honestly, these conversations are coming by for me on a personal level at the most synchronistic times. It's
Really?
unreal
Oh,
because,
because you're going to Dubai as well.
and that involves letting go of
Mm.
everything that I've worked towards creating
Yeah.
here over the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And it's a huge part of your life. It's, you I don't think you realize until you consider the idea of letting it go, just how much attachment you have to that thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so much harder, because it's not just the physical thing you've created, it's the emotional attachment that you have to what you created and what you've seen your hard work go into, your blood, sweat, tears, your energy that you've put into it every single day.
I don't know. I kind of see that as a physical thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I just I sort of detach myself from some things. So I used to be like that. I think Dubai has really toughened me up. I have to say, I'm like a tough cookie. I've been there for 2 years now, on and off, like 6 months of the year, and it just changed me massively. Where to survive in Dubai, you have to detach yourself from all material things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the energy, you know. Just because that detachment is going, don't mean that if anything, you're gonna just spread your wings like a butterfly, and you just have to be fearless with it, you know, and really trust and have faith in yourself that it's gonna work.
What specifically from Dubai made you made you grow so well, made you so tough, made you able to detach in the way that you're describing?
Dubai is a massive reality check. It's a massive reality check that nothing's really real, and it can be all an illusion, and that's what everyone's like. It's so fake. Yeah, it is. It is a fake place. But why do you have to connect with the fake people? At the end of the day, if you genuinely know who you are deep inside, trust me, there's a lot of meaningful people that you can have and meaningful relationships you can have. And it's hard to find the genuine people out there because everyone's driving a Lamborghini and a G63 and going into Dubai Mall and coming out with loads of shopping bags. But I've just learned to not really look at what everyone's doing and just focus on what I want. And trust me, it's so hard to get the lifestyle I want in Dubai. So that's what's made me thick-skinned.
We're going to come back to that lifestyle in a second.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned that you had to study Islam to allow yourself to connect to Dubai and what it's about.
Yeah.
And as someone who's Muslim,
Yes.
what did you have to study on top of the fact that you are already a practicing Muslim?
Yeah.
That made you feel more connected? What was your biggest learning?
I wasn't practicing.
Oh, okay.
So that was the number one thing there. So I was going to a Muslim country from a non-practicing Muslim, and that's not just me. It's probably 50% of Muslims that go there are probably non-practicing. And until I studied Islam is where I connected with my religion. I did practice for a while. I'm still not as practicing as I was, but I feel like with Islam you kind of like dip in and out, and it's a massive ocean, and it's a deep ocean. It's so deep, and you dip in and out of it. What I do anyway, you can dip in and out of it as you please. You can either go deeper or come back out, and then sometimes you need to come out of it to go back into getting deeper again.
When have you felt like you needed to come out of it, and what's made you feel that way?
I had a health scare, and my cousin committed suicide, and that all happened in the same few months.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it affected my women's cycle, and I was quite young, early 30s. This happened like 3 years ago. So that just it kind of, where I was really deep into practicing at the time, life kind of just stared me in the face and was like, right, life's really short, and it was a massive hit for me. And I was like, my body went into like a shock from what had happened. And I just decided to do what makes me happy from that day onwards. And I kind of stopped the practicing road because I felt like being an entrepreneur, my core values, family, and then running businesses, keeping my family happy, and practicing, praying 5 times a day, going mosque every Friday. It just got so much for me, and my body was actually talking to me. My body just said stop, and that's when I dipped a little. That's when I had to dip out of it for myself because I was deteriorating.
Wow.
Yeah.
So first of all, I'm so sorry to hear about your cousin.
Cousin.
That's super intense, and it's never easy to lose anyone.
No.
Secondly, for everyone listening to this, the recording actually cut out. And we'd gone on for like 10 minutes. We didn't even realize.
Yeah.
And we hadn't captured this.
No.
And in a way, I'm so glad the recording went out, because otherwise we might not have captured this.
Yeah. Because that's exactly that was the point where I dipped out of it.
And nothing happens by accident, right?
Yeah. No.
That is insane.
Wow.
So, do you mind just talking a little bit about the healthcare? Like, what actually happened?
Yeah. I missed 4 cycles. The day that we buried my cousin, and then I stopped going out. I stopped seeing my friends, stopped enjoying life because I didn't have time. I also gave a lot to a charity that I had in COVID. So, and that was another thing I gave myself, all of myself too. So, I then was like, I'm going to take some time away from range homes, which I did, and sit back and be like, what makes you happy, and do it, ASAP, because what do you really want in life? And okay, I think you get so sucked into this rat race and the gratification of selling and money and stuff like that we spoke about, and Dubai and stuff, but you really, really like lose track of what you really, really want.
So let's answer that question.
Yeah.
What do you really want in life?
So at that point, I had to realize that, and that's when I realized that I definitely want a baby, and I want a family. So that was about 2.5 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what have you done since that realization that's helped you get closer to that goal?
Well, what have I tried to do? So at that point in my life, I did a trip with the girls, and I realized that making me happy was one thing, was traveling. So I went to Ibiza. I went on my own to a meditation camp. I did yoga, and I did a lot of them things that I enjoyed doing, and I tried to find myself again because I feel like I gave myself to too many different things and I had nothing left of me. I learned how to paddleboard. I was doing scuba diving. I was doing like really fun. I'm an earth sign, I'm a Virgo, so like I'm really happy in the sea. So I was spending a lot of time under the water.
Oh, amazing.
And I loved it. And then I went to my home country, Cyprus. From did I go to Mykonos as well? I think I went to Mykonos with my friend, and then I went from Mykonos to Cyprus, all unplanned, by the way. I just left, literally
just on a whim.
Woke up, said to Range Homes, I'm going away for 5 days, and I didn't come back for 5 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And that was because so I went to Mykonos for another 5 days, and then I went to Cyprus to see my grandparents because they live there and they're my everything. My grandparents, I have one set left, and I love it. I love them a lot, and I didn't see them in COVID because North Cyprus you couldn't really travel to. So I went for the first time seeing my grandparents in 2 years, and I wanted to get checked out with the doctors. Turkish doctors are known to be quite good in all aspects, especially fertility. So I went to the local hospital, and I thought, okay, like it's time to get checked out. I've always, because of the health scare I had as well, I got checked out in UK. So I went to I've got private healthcare, fortunate enough, and when I missed my cycles, they said to me, they found something on my ovary. But when I went in for the operation, again, sign of God, there was nothing on my ovary. So I was like, okay, this is really confusing. I just had this fear. And like I said to you about the fearless thing as well at the beginning, the only fear I've ever had is not being able to have a baby. And I think that's more lack of self-worth, of me not deserving that child. So I've always had a fear that I couldn't feel pregnant. So then when I was at 32 and I lost my cycles, you can imagine, I'm like, wow, that fear has come to surface.
Yeah.
That stuff that shit that's been in my head, my subconscious mind for all these years is actually happening. I've told myself for so many years, I'm not going to have a kid, I'm not going to have a family, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this. And it's actually manifested. And God sent it down because really I lost 4 cycles, and for me to realization happened. And I'll be honest with you, the British doctor said to me, "You're the healthiest woman we've seen. Your tubes, like, alhamdulillah, your tubes are clear. You've got no cysts, you've got no ovaries. You're like perfect." And by the way, my cycles come back absolutely normal after that. It was just so strange. It was just that obviously the shock of the death that stopped everything. My body went into shock for them months. But so then I was like, so what is it then? And but the British doctors, the private healthcare said, there's nothing wrong with you. They said to me, go and have fun, go and live your life and go and have a baby. That was the top to the gynecologist on Harley Street. Okay. So that's when I went to Ibiza. I started getting myself back. And then I went to Northern Cyprus. I went to another doctor, a fertility clinic there. I thought, you know what? The doctor said I'm okay in UK. Let me just go and freeze my eggs.
And that's what you were doing back in Cyprus?
Yeah, so then I went to Cyprus. Well, my grandparents were there, and they said you have to go on a certain day of cycle. If anyone's ever frozen their eggs, you have to go on a certain day to do your fertility test. And you just don't think that as a young, healthy girl who's seeing her cycles regularly, who goes gym, who's got no health issues at all, you think, you should freeze at 30, but it's not really on your top of the list. You know what I mean? So then I went to, they were like, you got to come back in a month. In that month, I went to Dubai, and I got an offer. Someone offered me quite a substantial amount to buy my estate agency. Okay. And I was like, okay, like, what's this? Someone's willing to buy my estate agency for that amount of money. This is crazy. And I was like, wow, that means that I can actually live in Dubai if I do that, and I don't need to ever go back to England. And why not? Like, at least then you can really focus on yourself and having this baby that you really want, because maybe it's the business that has taken you away from that, and the stress is maybe affecting you. So I thought, stay in Dubai for a month, which I did, and I had the best time of my life, as you do. And then I went back to North Cyprus from Dubai, and I went back to the fertility hospital thinking everything's going to be fine. Got to the hospital, and then they gave me the really bad news, is that they said that they cannot see physically what is wrong with my body. It's like, they said it's like something from God that I'm not producing what I should be producing at all for my age. And they said that it's unbelievable that there's nothing, there's no polycystic, there's no cyst, there's nothing wrong with me, but they can't see, no one can see that, like the UK government think that I'm good to go forever, basically. I'm that strong and healthy, but the second opinion said that it's going to be really tough.
How did you handle that?
I went to have a baby. So I tried, I started freezing my eggs. Yeah. I did 2 rounds. and I was obviously gonna, I had a partner at the time, so I was going for the third round, and then we broke up, and I had to. I ran after that. I left England. I needed a break. So in that time, the freezing, I was going and coming from range homes to Cyprus, and it was such a stressful experience. Freezing eggs, doing it with a partner, especially a new relationship, I don't recommend. And freezing eggs and doing the IVF process is honestly one of the hardest things a woman has to go through mentally, and a man, but I didn't really go that far. But yeah, it's a really stressful situation for both.
This is something that, we had a conversation about before we started recording, and I know it's something that you wanted to talk about openly, because it's such a taboo subject to speak about.
Yeah, it is.
Why do you think it's so taboo to speak about?
I guess people don't want to admit that they've got a problem, and they feel like they're not, that it's not normal, and it really is. Unfortunately, men haven't got as high of a sperm count as they did have 100 years ago. Women haven't got as high of an egg count as they did 100 years ago. We don't know why. We can't tell you that, but that's the reality of it. There wasn't cancer 200 years ago. There is now. So there's the world is just changing, and people just, once the people accept that it's actually not them, and if they really do some inward work, that you can actually really try and change that within yourself, and you don't honestly, my life coach would say you don't need this IVF, you don't need this egg freezing.
That's interesting, because it's obviously going against what is being medically and scientifically recommended versus what the more spiritual, holistic aspect is saying, which is you don't need that. Change your thoughts and you can change what's happening inside you. And listen, I've been in the personal development world for years. I do a lot of stuff, work around the subconscious mind and how we instruct it and what that can do to create our reality. So I do believe that. But then at the same time, there is this power that a person in a medical professional position can have over your subconscious mind from that space of authority that can make you doubt everything that you'd think from a spiritual or more holistic view. How has not being able to talk about this so openly affected you in the decisions that you've been making? And
no, I've been very open with it.
Yeah,
I haven't obviously gone on social media. The first time I've spoken about it on socials, but my whole family know what I'm going through. My friends, I tell everyone, because I feel like awareness is amazing, and I want people to feel like it's okay to talk about that to me as well. And hopefully I can help people open up with stuff like this. Sometimes it's not okay, but even if anyone wants to talk, I'm here for them.
That's amazing. And I definitely, it sounds like you're doing everything that you can in your power to make that dream a reality.
Yeah. And
you said manifestation a couple of times.
Yes.
Do you believe in manifestation?
Yeah.
And what is your experience of it?
I had a vision board. I still have a vision board. So that's how I started off with the vision boards, and then I feel like the stuff I didn't manifest on, which was the relationship, the marriage, the kids, that it hasn't happened. So it's just crazy, isn't it? So it's like, I used to write down, I'm going to buy 2 houses this year. I'm going to live in Primrose Hill. I'm going to do a development, and I'm 25, and all of that stuff's happened. I never ever wrote down, I'm going to get married. I'm going to have 2 kids. I'm going to move to here and live a happily ever life. I never, I think business wise, I'm amazing. Relationship wise, I don't give it enough attention and time.
So I've done a lot of work on the whole manifestation stuff and instructing the subconscious mind. Do you think, looking back at it from now and looking back at who you used to be when you had the idea of living on Primrose Hill and doing the development and doing all of that, did you have any doubt in your mind that you could do it?
No.
And have you had doubt in your mind about the relationship and everything else?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Where do you think the doubt has come from?
It's childhood. definitely childhood trauma that I suffered. My parents are divorced. I come from a very socially taboo society of that divorce is not allowed, breakup is not allowed. Even though in Islam it's like, oh, you can divorce the same person many times and get married to them, and remarry. Whereas in a Turkish culture, it's frowned upon to get divorced. It's okay to be treated like crap. It's normal to be cheated on. It's normal to be in an abusive relationship. It's normal to give and not receive, and it's normal to be in a non-equal relationship, a marriage, and the woman's like a slave. And that's what I was brought up with, loads of women that were kind of treated that way. It was like, I'm not saying that they're not loved, my grandparents are like the cutest old couple now. Oh my god, my granddad's got dementia, and my nan looks after him like a baby, and you're like, wow, this woman, what a woman. That's a woman. She's been with my granddad, only man in her whole entire life, and she hasn't done nothing for herself. She just passed her driving test at 75 years of age.
That's amazing.
Yeah. She's the woman that raised me. I'm proud to say she's my nan, because she raised me, and she's a very strong woman. She put her grandkids before her. She put her husband before her. She had no life goals. She had no ambition. Her life goal was to be a wife and a mum. And that was it. And that's not, unfortunately, my life goal. So it just shows that that's the difference there.
Fuck, what you've just said is resonating on so many different levels of awareness.
Yeah.
You were raised to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been a woman in business for how long now?
I've had Range Home. My first business over 2008.
2008. So 2008 is where we are, 2024.
16 years.
Yeah, 16 years, which is amazing. So full on stint. Where
had
did
a stretch.
you? Yeah. And I feel like you're just getting started, because we're going to get into Dubai in a second as well. But you have to be an excellent salesperson to be an entrepreneur, I believe.
Do you?
I do.
That's good.
I believe that
because I feel like there's some entrepreneurs that are not as good as at selling.
I feel like you have to be great at sales, because even if you're not selling a product, you have to be able to sell your idea. You have to be able to sell your vision. You have to be able to sell the value proposition of getting people to work with you and be with you for the long haul of what you're trying to create.
And what factors do you think go into that?
Into being a great salesperson?
Yeah.
More than anything, it's the certainty that you have in yourself that no matter what happens, you are going to hit that target and surpass it. And there's actually no other option.
Okay. It's confidence and self-belief, I guess.
100%.
Yeah.
Where did you get yours from?
I don't know if we said this one, but obviously I'm really passionate and authentic, and I think that that's a thing that's in my personality, like I said. But honesty and likability, I feel like, because I'm so open and authentic, that people resonate with me and they want to work with me. And whoever don't want to work with me, I feel like it's a bit of a jealousy thing. I feel like that they don't want to see me do well. Maybe because I'm a woman, or maybe because I'm successful. Maybe because they think they don't know me and they don't want to give me business. I'm too open, and that's my downfall sometimes. And I lose business because I'm too open.
That's interesting. Don't you think it's better to be more open and lose business opportunities that actually may have been either given to you begrudgingly or there just wasn't the right connection from the start?
Of course. I think an authentic connection is a true connection. It's like when a guy gives you a gift and takes it away. I believe that that's not authentic. That gift wasn't from an authentic place, for example. Or like, people use you in a sense and as an advantage for themselves, and you're always the one at a disadvantage, and they're trying to play you, and you're like, well, I'm the one that's always getting hit here. I don't really need to hold this. Is not authentic to me because it's not pure. It's not. We're not on the same page. And I think in business you have to both be on that same page for it to work.
Why do you like to sell?
It's like a drug. It really is.
This is going into the promo.
The Primark
it's like
socks.
a drug.
Yeah. So I feel the same as when I'm selling if I sold a pack of Primark socks to a house, and it's like I just like the buzz of it, and I don't really look at what it gets, what I need to get out of it, which is financial gain. And obviously we're all here for that. Otherwise we wouldn't be doing it, and we'd be living in a mountain somewhere meditating all day. But with no makeup and the clothes and designer stuff that we all love and admire, want to go to and want to better ourselves. But so, which is like the monk, and he's great, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jay
Shetty's. Yeah, he's awesome.
He's great. I was one of the first books I actually read when I started manifestation. So yeah, I just feel like that. Yeah, that's what I love about sales now, where I'm in my 30s and I'm like, okay, you love sales, you're good at sales, put your focus in that, but put down a plan of what you're going to do with that. So how are you going to monetize your social media? How are you going to monetize your new chapter in your life, and what are you going to actually do with your funding, and how are you going to help people with that? And that's where I'm at now.
You said right at the beginning that you have to experience it yourself before you sell it.
Yes.
Why?
Mistakes.
Explain that.
I feel like if you are going to do something, I would rather risk making a mistake for myself before I risk making a mistake with someone else. So if I do it on myself and I make a mistake, it's fine.
What's the
biggest? Because I'll get back up and I'll carry on.
What's the biggest mistake you've made?
Oh my God, there's so many.
Let's hear it.
There's so many. And lately I've been making a lot more mistakes than others. And my dad can vouch for that because he's shouting at me all the time. I recently bought a property in auction and thought that the owner was going to give me a time extension. And he did give me a time extension for £16,000 penalty for a month worth of extra time, and 2 weeks of that was in Christmas.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was like £20,000 down on that deal, which was just completed last week, so I'm in a big pain for that. I wish I just bridged it. The problem was the bridge would have been £3,500 a month, and the mortgage is £1,500 a month. Right. So, and I'm on another bridge from another site that I also made another mistake on. So, yeah, I'm just making the mistakes at the moment.
Just failing forward.
Just,
it's like the
yeah,
perfect
literally.
definition.
I was like, okay, mistake, then mistake. You know, so like I think when you're getting to that time in your life where you're going to that level up and stuff's happening for you, the change, that big change, you're gonna hit the bottom, and I've been making some big crazy mistakes lately.
Well, I love the transparency of that because that's what makes you, in my opinion, as good as you are for investors to come to you, because you can go, well, listen, I've been in this situation before.
Yeah, we won't do that again.
Yeah, and I'll save you a ton of cash in the process as well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the problem at the moment is these mistakes wouldn't be so strong if we were in a better market, but because the market is terrible, mortgage rates have gone up again this week. So you're like, eek, what's going on? I would have made £200,000 on the project that I got £20,000 worth of delay on. Right now, I'm lucky to make 100.
That's a huge cut into the profit.
It's the market,
and it's making that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's safer to go to Dubai at the moment.
I was going to say, so bridging perfectly from there into Dubai.
Yes.
You know, look, we've had Dubai Bling. We've had Inside Dubai. There was another one on BBC as well.
Dubai Hustle.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you know, you look at all those
Hustle.
and they paint this picture of how incredible it is in Dubai, number one.
Yes.
And then also how incredible it is in real estate in Dubai. And the numbers seem mystical, magical, like astronomically large compared to what you have here.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Anything is possible in Dubai. That's the bottom line. Anything's possible in Dubai. You can buy and flip and make 100% profit. You can lose if you go to the wrong advice, and you are in an illusion. Nothing is what it seems, which is why it made me really thick-skinned to be out there and realization of Dubai is nothing around you is what it seems at all. So that's where I got to realize, and I had to disconnect with the material things and really, really work inwards to a reality of what I want. But yeah, you see a project every day. Then projects do sell out on the launch, and then this is my advice. I say to my clients, okay, client, what you want to buy, you want to invest in Dubai. I will, because I've studied the market for 2 years. I know the projects that are going to sell. I know the projects that are going to make you money. So if you don't listen to me, that's your problem, because you need to.
That's literally your loss.
I'm 17 years in experience. I've studied the market in 2 years. I've got thousands of clients worldwide. Whoever ain't listening to me, they're the one that are losing, not, because by now I think people should trust what I do and what I advise on. And I've done it. This is the thing. I've done everything that I'm advising on. So it's not as if that I'm like, just come to the market and I want to make a quick commission, because the reality is I don't need the commission. I just love making you money, and I love the Dubai. I believe in what it has to offer. It's the future. I want to be there forever. I don't want to be there for 5 years. Everyone I know also wants to be there forever. It's not a place like it was before, where people used to go there for 2 to 5 years, spend all their money, get really fat, and come back broke.
That's quite a picture you've just painted.
That's the reality. Now it's like people want to build businesses. It's tax-free. The education system's really good. The labour's very low. There's a lot of opportunity. It's like the dream of opportunity, and it's so old school. So it's like, don't need all these checks and balances to rent a property out. You don't need all these checks and balances to get a mortgage, to open a bank account, to get a visa, to get a driving license. Everything is so easy, how England was 20 years ago. So here it takes 6 months to get a mortgage, or the average house sale is 6 to 9 months. There, the average house sale is 24 hours.
24 hours?
Yes.
I see. I knew it was fast, but I didn't know it was that fast.
Yeah. You like a property, you and the seller go to the notary with the check, and it's done.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So it's not just the buildings that go up fast, it's everything.
Everything is fast. Yeah. And that's what makes you super, super sharp. You have to be super sharp to be there, like literally. And that's what's made me, I think, who I am today. And that's not without me living there. So I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing, because that's made you who you are today, just going backwards and forwards for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got your connections, you've got the investors that you work with.
Yes.
What is the vision for Chanel Ali in Dubai, who's just had her company Range Homes here being acquired, and now it's all taken care of, with that freedom and mental capacity you now have?
Yeah.
What does that vision look like?
So my main objection is obviously to still protect and look after my clients here and still grow my client base in the UK. That's number one priority for me. My second, my new obviously is growing my knowledge in Dubai, growing my network. Hopefully doing a property development there as well myself, something small, just to try it out. Like I say, try and do everything before you then sell it to other people.
Yep.
And then my third step is to get into education and try and help people, young children who bit not lost but not sure of what career path they want to go down, if they want to go into property. And I get so many messages on socials like, I want to be an estate agent, what do you think? And you know what, I don't get enough girls coming to me, which gets me upset, because I get a lot of guys. I feel like the property world is very male orientated, and I would love more girls. So girls, if you want to be an estate agent, let me know, because
Chanel's the one to talk to.
Yeah. I did it from the age of 18. Thank God my dad was a builder, so I've always kind of loved property. So I've seen a lot of property in my life, and my dad was like the builder / magician that used to make all of our houses from nothing into a house. And I was like, oh my God, he's amazing. And I was really proud of that. So watching that was amazing, and that kind of got me into the property side. Plus I love sales, so both went hand in hand together with the law degree that I dropped out of after 2 years.
Oh, you dropped out of your law degree?
Yeah.
It's probably the best decision you've made.
Yeah, I saved about £35,000 at the age of 20, so that was good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You're obviously very experienced, number one,
Mm-hmm.
and there's been a lot of success behind that experience as well, which
Yeah.
is huge. But there's something that you mentioned which is really important, which
Mm-hmm.
is even now you don't see many girls coming to you saying, "What's it like to be in this industry?"
Mm.
You know, looking for mentorship, guidance, all of
Mm-hmm.
that. What were some of the issues that you faced in the property industry here in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
considering how male dominated it is?
I didn't.
None at all.
No.
What makes you?
I think it helped. It helped me being the only owner of an estate agency on in my area as a female. There's one other, but the biggest one, yeah. I'm like there's 3 estate agency owners in my borough that are owned by women, or maybe 4 actually. There is a few, but considering there's like 20 agents and like
Mhm.
3 is owned by women, you just don't see a lot of women estate agents either. It's like all guys, and I'm like, come on, where are the girls at? You know, because we're really authentic, we're very trusted, and we're also good at what we do. So I think that's society changing now. I feel like women going back to the old school, especially in Dubai, with women don't want to work. So
Mhm.
I think that's what's happening.
Do you think that that's the case in Dubai?
Mm.
Most women don't want to work.
Oh, definitely not. No, women in Dubai don't want to work. I don't know why. I do know why, because the lifestyle's so good, they just want to live. Just Dubai bling, isn't it? It's made like, but that people have to understand that even in Dubai bling, all the women there are now creating amazing businesses off of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think women should have a balance. You know, like I think they should work, but also if they want to have a family, stop and have a family. Or if they don't want to have a family, that's also okay. Keep working. But I think expecting people to look after you and not work and not want a family is a bit crazy.
Do you think women can have it all?
Yes, I think we're limitless. But I don't think we should do it all. You know, I think that you need to really, really understand as a woman that we're here to conceive a baby and to be a wife and to look after a home, and you have to have that feminine instinct in you. um my barriers are very up because I've been single for quite a long time, so um I feel like, but if I'm in a relationship, my barriers are down, like completely down, and I'm like very romantic. I would like to cook. I want to look after my partner, and I care about his day, and I care about his business, and I will support him in every single way because that's my mum. My mum is that amazing woman that supported my dad through 22 years of marriage, and they went through their highs and lows together as a partnership, and they both had multi businesses. So if my mum could do that and still have 3 children, look after that, bring 3 amazing children up, and now she's been a single parent for the last 10 years, then anyone could have both. Um, but it's children you can't take lightly, and I understand. I don't, I think it's unfair that women um, see women like me and they're like, oh my God, she's so lucky. She's got a career, she's got her money, she can go where she wants, she can do what she wants, in her bank account, and she don't have to look. She don't need a man. Like I hear that all day. She don't need a man. She don't need no one. And I'm like, that's it's really lonely.
Mm.
It's lonely going home on your own after, like, I get home sometimes at 11 o'clock. Most times, especially in Dubai, because I'm double the hustling there at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm getting home at like 11 at night. Tonight I'll get home at 11 at night. And you get home and you're like, okay, there's no one to talk to. There's no one to share your day with. There's no one to share your problems with. And you're happy, and because that's what I created. So it's about understanding what you create.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I look at families, and I'm like, women with children that are my age, and there's, trust me, most people my age have got kids and they're married or divorced with kids, fine, whatever. And I'm like, oh, like they're really lucky. you know. So it's crazy. It's like they will look at someone independent, successful, and be like, "You're so lucky," when really you're on the other side thinking, "Oh, like they're so lucky. Like I'll trade that in to go home to a husband with 2 screaming kids at night with and cook a dinner, whether it's pie and mash. You know, it's something. You know, I don't care. Or you're gonna be sitting in Cipriani in Dubai and on your own for the rest of your life. You don't want that.
That got deep.
Yeah.
I love that. And there's a couple of things you said which I want to touch on.
Yeah.
So first one,
Yeah.
around femininity.
Mhm.
There's this whole thing, and I'm not talking about how people identify and stuff like that. I'm talking about masculine and feminine energy.
Mhm.
What do you think helps a woman step more into her feminine energy versus being in a masculine energy? Do you think that they need to be more in their feminine energy?
They need to feel protected to be in their feminine energy. The thing with me is because I'm such a tough nut, men are scared to protect someone like me because they probably don't feel like they can. So that's why I've got a higher masculine energy most times. Until I feel like I'm safe, I'm in that security spot, then that's when a woman's feminine energy will come up.
Where do you think your tough nuttedness, the way you put it,
Yeah.
where did that come from?
My dad. Yeah. I'd make jokes, but he's like a Turkish version of Hitler sometimes. Yeah, he's hard on me. I'm the oldest. I'm the only girl, and he's tough. Tough love, I call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've mentioned a couple of times working inwards, which has been a huge help to you to detach from a lot of stuff, to really focus.
Yeah.
How do you work inwards?
I look at life like a mirror, and I believe that everything that I see is a reflection of myself, and that's the reality, that I am my own true observer of this world and everything that happens in it.
Where did you learn that from?
Oh, why?
Just very curious, because I completely buy into that philosophy.
Really?
My entire... Have you read The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy?
No.
You will love that book. So
I probably wouldn't finish it.
Audible. Audible is the one. Honestly,
I need to get into this Audible thing.
Honestly,
you
when you're
help me out
driving,
here. I'm going to ask you for some help.
I'll sort you out, because
I'm
when
really
you're
bad at technology.
because when you're driving around
Yeah.
and if you're not listening to the radio, put on an Audible. You'll go through like book after book after book, and it becomes.
I'm on about 100 Zooms a day at the moment, so.
Hopefully not while you're driving. So
Yeah,
you know.
well,
Listen, that
police, are you watching?
Yeah, that stays off the podcast.
Yeah.
We create our reality. That's my belief.
Yeah.
And therefore, everything we instruct our subconscious mind with, we will experience in some way or form. Okay. So even the negative can be created, because the mind doesn't really differentiate between what's positive and negative.
Yeah.
So if you're having thoughts that are negative, the mind doesn't go, that's a bad thought, you shouldn't have that, or it doesn't guide you from it.
Mine says gives you more negative thoughts.
Correct.
Yeah.
It just goes, it just goes, thanks so much.
Feed me more.
Exactly. And it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah.
And the same is true for the opposite with the positive stuff, which is why practicing things like gratitude, all of that is so important.
Yeah.
So where did you
learn the mirror work?
Yeah.
I have a life coach called Ray, and he taught me so many amazing things. You know, he really did. And my life changed completely after I did that inward work, and I realized that life is like a mirror, and I know that everything I see in front of me is a reflection of myself, and that's all. And it's the power of now, isn't it? And that's it. So it's really simple.
Do you think everyone should have a life coach?
Yes. Guys, like, I don't stress how important guidance and support is. Mentor, life coach, psychological help. Everyone needs it. I'm really anti-meds, antidepressants and stuff like that. I wouldn't want anyone around me to do them. I'll rather help people in another way, because you can mentally, and I obviously I've got a strong belief in mental health. But with the right support and guidance, I feel like people can get through anything. And life coach is definitely high up there for me. I've got a session tomorrow actually, so I can't wait.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you the same question I asked, I guess, yesterday about mentors and life coaches and people that you work with for guidance.
Yeah.
How do you pick the life coach that is the one for you?
They picked me.
Okay.
He picked me and I picked him, and we resonated, and that was it. I'm very sharp. If I don't resonate with someone, they're not in my life, and they're definitely not with my life coach. So that's it. Same with men.
Just slip that one in there as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're not for me, you're gone. I know what I want, and I know what I deserve, and that's that. Even with a life coach, it's the same. It's a relationship. So it's like your life coach is your friend. He's your supporter. Your client is your friend, your supporter. So you need to resonate, and you need to have that relationship with everyone and be clear and transparent. And as soon as you're trying to use that person for your own advantage, or they're trying to use you, which by the way is 80% of most relationships and business relationships in the world, chaos and it can go wrong.
How do you know when you're in a relationship being used like that on the 80% side of relationships you just
Gut
said?
instinct. Red flags.
What are some of the red flags?
Oh God, there's so many.
Let's hear them.
There's so many. Lying. When you catch someone out lying straight away is obviously a red flag, because you're like, what's the need to lie? So honesty and transparency. There's just honestly, there is so many, like psychotic behavior I don't fall for, like calling back to back. If you don't respond to a message, that's stuff, that toxic stuff that was in like 10 years ago. 2024 era, there's no room for that. There's no time to be in situations like that. No, you don't use people for your advantage.
I think that's a really important energy exchange insight that people need to have as well.
Yeah.
Like it's a level of self-awareness.
Yeah.
Because and this is why I think I'm not sure if I'm on the page of everyone needs a life coach.
Okay.
But I am on the page that everyone needs to go on the journey of self-awareness.
Yes. Yes. But if everyone wants a life coach, go for it.
Exactly.
And if they don't want it, don't go for it.
Correct.
And like I said before, that's down to you.
Exactly.
I know how much it's helped me, but some people might not need the help.
That's it.
So good for them.
And I'm coming from the space of life coaches. Like I've been in that industry for a really long time. And I think the more important thing for everyone is to be open to the path of self-awareness and self-discovery. And if a life coach helps you on that, then amazing.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, when you're making a decision on if you're going to work with someone, if you're going to buy a property, if you're going to take on an investor, your coach isn't going to be there with you. It's you that's in that relationship, or it's you that's starting that business deal.
Yeah.
So
it's about education.
Exactly.
Again, it's educating yourself, your self-awareness, your self-worth, changing things. And change is, for me, is massive. Like I'm really big on change. Like I want to change every day. Like, how do I change myself today? Let's find something new. That's the ego though. It's like, you need to change, you need to grow, you need to do this. The ego is talking to you all the time. So it's really the life coach, the meditation, it stops the ego, takes the ego out of you, and makes you really sharp. That's what I feel.
That, and the only constant is change. And me and Chris were having a conversation earlier where she was like, change is really good. And I'm someone who doesn't love change.
Oh, this is good.
But it is something I'm becoming more aware of, my own thoughts around change, and going, okay, I can feel my anxiety, I can feel my stress.
Why don't you like change?
Oh, because everyone loves comfort. The ego loves comfort.
I hate comfort.
Amazing.
I'm in my comfort now, so
I'm
eating a lot because I'm in my comfort, and that's my comfort from young. But after the stress I've gone through in the last 3 months, I'm like, eat it away. And I saw a thing actually, and it says, it's really bad, I shouldn't say this aloud. If you start to hate people, eat. And I was like, Yeah.
Where
I,
did you read that?
I can't remember. And if you're stressed, sleep, which is normal. Um, and I think there's another one if you think love, but yeah, again, when people say, "Oh, I need people that like they really love me and I really like love the love that they're giving me," and I'm like, because you're lacking self-love within yourself for you to like craving people to love you. And another thing, people that don't want to be on their own, I'm like, what do you mean? Because I'm so used to that. And then people look at me, they're like, oh, she's weird. This girl is weird. Like, how could she do everything on her own? Travel on my own, fly on my own twice a month sometimes, live on my own, go out on my own, go to eat on my own, go to meetings on my own. And I'm just like, and then when people, like, everyone wants to be together all the time, I'm like, this is very strange. But it's normal. But to me, it's not. It's crazy. So,
It is interesting because
yeah.
what you do is completely normal to you,
Yeah.
and then someone else's perception of that looking in
Yeah.
is this is the weirdest life ever.
Yeah.
But then the same way you look at someone else's life going, why is that so weird?
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I have so many friends, and I haven't been there around a lot lately because I've had a lot going on, obviously. But like, I'm always with my friends. So I've got a good balance of life, so that's important to me.
So, before I get into the final part of this,
yes,
there's a lot of people that might be listening who are interested in property and real estate, wanting to get into it, have seen the Dubai bling and all that stuff, thinking, are the numbers as real as you talk about?
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing what the biggest deal you've been able to do and the kind of numbers you pulled in?
Okay, sales-wise or personal-wise?
Let's go with one of each.
Okay. I think the most commission I made from my company referral is £150,000.
On one sale.
Yes.
Excellent. That is what I like to hear.
Yeah.
That's the sales high.
Yeah.
That comes through on that. Definitely.
No. And the most profit I've probably made on a transaction so far is about £350,000. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's okay.
See,
it was okay.
What makes you say it's okay versus that was incredible?
Because I can do better, and I'm gonna do better, and that's the bottom line there, really. 300,000 is not enough for me anymore.
Not for the lifestyle in Dubai.
No, for no lifestyle. It's not enough anymore. The money that you used to make, but I find it UK is so much harder to make money, than it used to be. It was easy. Every transaction was like minimum 100 to 200,000 pound profit. Now you're lucky to make £50,000 profit on a transaction. So what I say to people is, do not believe all these people that are saying they're making millions of pounds property developing, because they're not. The reality is most property developers are probably in debt and leveraged so maxed out, especially if they built in the last 2 years where interest rates were lower. Now they're 5% minimum. So everyone's leveraged up. We're in a really bad time in UK, and we're going to be, I think, we're going to be in another really bad year this year.
I'm actually really glad you said that because I've been looking at developments and stuff over the last couple of years.
Okay.
And I've been looking at land deals and stuff like that.
Amazing.
And when you actually look at the numbers and you properly outline the numbers and you take into account your bridging loan interest rate and the cost of development, the fact that materials have gone up, everything.
40%.
Yeah.
Wages, 40%.
You can end up doing a 1.2, 1.3 million pound development and
making 200 grand.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Literally looking
Imagine
at
all of that
1.5
stress
on the GDP.
2 years later and you're like, what? Yeah, that's me. I'm joking.
No.
So, but UK in 5 years is going to be booming. And whoever buys now just needs to sit back and make money off other things and literally forget about it and then go back. The problem with society now is that everyone wants this quick money and they think, oh, Dubai, great quick money. Nope, it's also very hard to make money in Dubai. It takes a lot of work. And so I think the lesson here is to work hard, and that's the only way. There's no easy way out.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Are you still going to operate with projects in the UK as well?
Yes. I've got 2 development projects at the moment that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, with a good team of builders, then you can operate. And I'm also looking for more sites for me and my clients. So if anyone's looking for sites, let me know. I've got some really good development projects upcoming. Yeah, that making better yields because I'm sourcing them for myself. So I wouldn't buy anything without a 25% profit margin.
Love it. Okay, I did a bit of a deep dive into your socials, specifically on your Instagram, and I found 2 quotes that I really liked.
Okay.
Hopefully you remember them. That would be great.
Yeah, hopefully I wrote them.
I'll read the quote back to you, and
Okay.
I'd love your insight on it.
Okay.
Okay. The first one.
Yes.
Behind every successful woman.
It's herself.
Absolutely.
I wrote that one. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Why is that so true?
Funny enough, when I was writing that, I was like, oh, this sounds really like a bit weird, but like really confident and, you know, big-headed or whatever. I'm missing the word. But yes, there's other factors that go into a woman, and that's her upbringing, her mum, and her life challenges and her journey. But when you get to reality of it, it's you. You are the person that becomes the success. It's your story. It's your movie. You go and live it.
I love that.
Yeah. Beyonce.
Quoting Queen Bee on the
Queen
podcast.
C.
Yeah. Love that. The second one was super interesting because it's the opposite of what you hear most people say.
Okay.
And your quote is, plan to succeed, the rest will fall into place. When most people plan to fail or plan for failures in order to help them succeed. Where did you get that viewpoint?
Success is all I know. So that's the viewpoint off of it. Failure is, I take it really, really hard. And if I fail, I'll never admit I failed anything anyway. And so that's it. I didn't fail. I've never failed. No, I made mistakes, and the lessons are blessings. And that's it.
I think that mindset in itself helps people succeed.
Yeah.
Which is, listen, failures are going to happen, but if you take them as failures and then adopt an identity that you failed, it can be hurtful. It can be harmful to your own confidence.
Lessons are hard kicks in the teeth, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And the only way to grow though is through them lessons, really, isn't it?
That's it. So it's lessons and mistakes, and you can always correct them and learn from them.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
Last 2 questions.
Okay.
Tradition to finish off on the podcast.
So I've really enjoyed this, by the way. Thank you.
I'm glad. This has been such a good conversation.
Oh, it has been amazing.
So, what has been the most transformational book or movie?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Someone told me to buy Rich Dad Poor Dad the other.
I knew you were going to say that. Everyone in property goes into this, but
and I'm not a book person, and it's the first book that I've actually read in a long time. And I was like, and everyone's messaging me on Instagram like, "Oh my God, you're so dumb! Like, how can you read that now? I read that like 15 years ago, and it's a really old book, right? Like Beatles times. No, it was.
It's an old book.
It's a really old.
Did you say
book.
you've just got it a month ago?
See?
You've been living Rich Dad Poor Dad life for the last 18 years.
I know. So thank you for the person that got me that. But yeah, basically, I was like, oh, I know all this stuff.
This is like common knowledge.
But it's good to bring that back to your knowledge and your surface. So that was a really good. It's like a little knock in the head saying, remember that lesson? Learn it. You know, go back to practicing that Rich Dad Poor Dad stuff, and it resonates with a lot of us, the poor dad and the rich dad.
Yep.
So yeah, so that was a good one. Movie Titanic.
Why the Titanic?
My typical love story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything dies. Come back. No, I'm joking. So yeah, Titanic.
I love it. Last question.
Yeah.
If you could go back to one point in your history to give your younger self one piece of advice, what age would you go back to, and what piece of advice would you give?
I would say probably go back to like my 18-year-old self and say to her, this is gonna be hard, but to find out who you are first before you get into a relationship, and rush into the normality of having to get married and having children at a young age, and needing a man to be loved. So I feel like all girls should really, really find their self-love at a young age. And it's hard now, especially at the 18-year-olds. They're going on TikTok and social media and they're seeing like all this fakeness, fake bodies, fake relationships, fake clothes, fake everything. And they're like, oh, I need this. I need a man to get me this. Or I need a man to make me feel loved. And I just wish and pray that all women find that love within themselves so they don't have to go and seek it from other things.
How did you find your self-love?
Oh, very late on. Very late. And my life coach. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Chanel, thank you so much.
Thank you.